Hello everyone, it is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, here with another exciting live stream. In this video, I'm going to go over what all I have been up to today. But I always forget to label them the correct way, these videos. So I always label them the current date, even though they're about the day before. This won't make any sense because I'm going to change the title of the video right now. I titled it Nickabenson Vlog January 2nd, but January 2nd just started. This is about January 1st, so I'm going to fix the title. Anyways, what did I do today is the big thing. So last night we had the big New Year's party over at Dozer's. We had Dozer, Serena, Leo, Kaylee, Ian, and myself all hanging out. We played cards for a little bit. We played some Smash Brothers Ultimate. We hung out and watched My 600-Pound Life on TLC, and we had a blast. If you guys want to see that, we actually filmed most of it, so feel free to check that up. We have 2 New Year's videos that we posted yesterday that covered all those topics. Now, other than that, what did I do today? The big question is, what did I do January 1st, 2019? I just changed the title, so the title of this video should be changing now. Anyways, so I spent the night at Dozer's and we watched My 600-Pound Life on TLC until 6 a.m. So around 6 a.m. Oh, thank you for smashing that like button. Truly appreciate it. We decided that we were gonna probably all go to sleep. I thought we were gonna spend the night and it would be like a big like sleepover kind of thing. Leo had to leave early to go pick up his sister and drop her off back at home. And we were like, "Oh, Leo, are you gonna come back?" And Leo was like, "Nah, I won't be able to come back." So we all said goodbye to Leo, and then he had to dip. Yo, Mr. 46K, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. Then Kaylee, a little bit before 6, was like, "Yeah, I'm getting a little sleepy. I'm gonna probably like get in my car, head back home, and then go to bed." So we were like, "Peace out" to Kaylee, and then Kaylee dipped. Ian didn't start getting ready to dip until closer to around 6 a.m. But Ian was like, "Hey, it's practically 6 a.m. Anybody want to do breakfast? Maybe go to a Waffle House?" And I was tempted. Serena was tempted. We were both like, "Waffle House? Mmm." Waffle House is my personal favorite restaurant, in case anyone's not aware. But I asked Dozer, and Dozer was like, "I'm kind of sleepy." And I was like, "I get what you mean. It's like 6 a.m. No one really wants to go out driving when you're like really tired. So that's understandable." So Ian dipped. We turned off TLC, and then we went to sleep at around 6 a.m. So we don't wake up until like the afternoon for real. So it's now like the afternoon. It's probably like 1 p.m. or so. And Serena's really hype about Waffle House. She really wants to go to Waffle House. And I'm down to go to Waffle House too. Meanwhile, Dozer's playing Smash Ultimate, and then after a little bit, he starts playing Breath of the Wild. I get my exercise out of the way because I always have to complete my exercise routine before I eat, and I only ever eat 1 meal a day. So I finish my exercise routine, I'm ready to go. Dozer plays Breath of the Wild for a little bit more, and then Serena's like, "So Waffle House, right?" And Dozer's like, "Nah, I want to go someplace that we never go." So we went to Bojangles, which is a place that I've gone to with like Colin and Gerard and Matt, but it's not. Oh, and CJ. But it's not a place where I have gone with like Dozer and Serena before. So I kind of know what to expect at a Bojangles, but they're like, I've never really had Bojangles. So we go in, and I end up getting like a couple sausage biscuits and a half a dozen Bowberry biscuits, which is actually, yeah, that's pretty good. That's a solid amount of food for my 1 meal a day. Now you may be wondering, what's up with that portion? Because in total, that's like 8 biscuits. So I count Bowberry biscuits more like donuts, and I count sausage biscuits as like normal food portions. So I think for my 1 meal a day, I like to make it up as 4 portions, right? So normally a sausage biscuit I count as 1 portion, but a Bowberry biscuit, I want to be able to, if I wanted to, eat a whole dozen for 1 meal, right? So I can't say that 1 Bowberry biscuit equals 1 portion. I say that 3 equals 1 portion. So in order to have a complete meal, I had 2 sausage biscuits and then 6 Bowberry biscuits, which I know sounds stupid, but I've done that before, where you eat like a whole bunch of Bowberry biscuits and then you're good for the whole day, or eat like a dozen of donuts and then you're good for the whole day. So it doesn't like screw me over in the end, surprisingly. But it's weird because they're both biscuits, but somehow I like have the portions be different. Anyways, we hung out at a Bojangles. I realized all Bojangles have classical music. I didn't realize that was a thing. I thought maybe the Bojangles by the school just did that, but we went to a different one and they play classical music. It seemed like Dozer and Serena enjoyed their time for the most part at Bojangles. No one was super hype. No one was like, this is really good. Serena was like, this was a good deal. Like, I feel like we spent like a low amount of money for the amount of food we got, kind of thing. But Dozer didn't really comment on Bojangles for real. We were just kind of there. So after we went to Bojangles and ate, we went to the Target shopping center and we hung out at Target. I was gonna pick up an Aquaman action figure, but they didn't have any individual Aquaman action figures, which I should have known. It's right after the holiday season. Parents probably came in, grabbed those all off the shelf. So they had like Ocean Master, Black Manta, the obligatory Mira action figures that are going to be on the shelf for a long time. For whatever reason, female superhero action figures don't sell very well. So I saw those and I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to see those next time too." And they did have like an Aquaman versus Ocean Master set where you get those two figures. But the Aquaman one was stupid. It had like his battle armor that he had in the first fight against Ocean Master, and I was like, I don't really care for that. I wanted like the movie, like at the end of the movie Aquaman suit, not the beginning of the movie Aquaman suit. So it didn't do anything for me. Mr. Forces K said, "Was the Black Manta any good? The Black Manta action figure? I think the Black Manta action figure looked good. Even the Ocean Master action figure looked good. It's just it wasn't what I was looking for. I like specifically wanted to get like the Aquaman figure, so I just was like, they don't have the one thing that I want. Let's see. So Prime Pin. Let's see. Just put up, I think, song lyrics, like erotic song lyrics, inside of the live chat. And then Mr. 46K is like, what's that? I'm just like, who knows? Who knows? I imagine if you Google it, it's probably like from a real song. Um, but I was able to find a 4 pack of Aquaman figures that had Aquaman, Black Manta, Ocean Master, and an Atlantean Guard. An Atlantean Guard was the other thing I was looking for. So I love the Atlantean soldiers that are in the Aquaman movie. It's like DC's closest thing to stormtroopers, and they are pretty ballin'. I love the normal white suit ones. They have red suit ones that are like the elite soldiers, but even though red's my favorite color, I don't think it fits the design well. I love the white version. So I looked for that figure and I couldn't find that figure. But in the 4 pack, they had the red version along with Black Manta, Ocean Master, and Aquaman. And it was $40. And I looked at it and I was like, $40 doesn't seem like too much because normally for a normal sized action figure, it's like $10 a figure. So you're getting 4 figures for $40. Like that just makes sense. That's how much it would cost individually. My issue is they were all 10-inch figures. Normal action figures are like 5 to 6 inches tall, like as a normal scale. So 10-inch figures are like huge. They're the kind that kids like run around with and hold in their arms, and they're like pretty tall for what they are. And I'm like, I don't have room for that, and I don't have use for that. So I like getting the figures from the different DCEU movies. I think they're cool. Um, but I feel like I like sitting them like on a desk where they don't take up a lot of space. I don't like getting huge figures where I'm like, what am I gonna do with this? And then having 4 of them, I don't have room to put like 4 of those big figures. So I kind of wish they had that 4 pack, but they were just the normal 6-inch figures. I don't want them to be just blown out of proportion for no reason. I also like to do stop motion, and it looked like they had good articulation, so I could do stop motion animation with them, but I don't like doing stop motion with big figures. I feel like they'd be hard to keep balanced, and I feel like they'd fall over easily. They'd be like too heavy. So I just had too many negatives for me to buy anything at Target, considering the Aquaman stuff. I checked the Ben 10 section, and they didn't have any of the Omni Enhanced figures, so I was like, well, they don't have anything for me then. Just not interested. They also didn't have any of the season 3 figures or anything like that. Mr. 46K said he used to have a really unique Spawn figure collection until he passed them down to his cousin. Oh, that's pretty dope. The McFarlane action figures are part of what made action figure collecting for the adult market such a huge thing. One thing that I learned not too long ago is that Star Wars action figures are what really caused the action figure boom in the first place, for people to really get into collecting them, which I just never knew. That was really surprising for me to hear. So we walk around Target, we look at the different toys and everything, and then eventually we go to GameStop. So when we go into GameStop, I already know that I don't want any like new games while I'm there. I want to get Jump Force when it comes out, but it's gonna come out in like February. So I wasn't going in there expecting to pre-order Jump Force or anything like that. I was looking for a game that was inexpensive and something that I could do streams with easily, where I can jump in and jump out and just have little adventures and like a big open world kind of thing. Your boy Dozer was like, you should check out like this Dragon Quest game or whatever. But I've never been a big fan of JRPGs, or like certain action RPGs even. Um, I like the Batman Arkham series, but that has Batman in it. You know, I like the new Spider-Man PS4 game, but that has Spider-Man in it. I like Kingdom of Amalur, which is like the closest generic action RPG thing that I really got into. But medieval fantasy doesn't always do it for me. And while Dragon Quest has like Akira Toriyama style art, and you know that art style is pretty cool, I was just a little skeptical of it. I was like, I don't think I really vibe with that. I remember when Shadow of Mordor came out, it was really hype. People were like, "Whoa, Arkham style Batman combat, but it's like a medieval fantasy world, and you have enemies that when they kill you, they get stronger and they remember you, so you start having rivals within the game world and shit like that." And I remember looking at it and going, "This looks really cool." I like that it uses like Arkham mechanics. I like that there's this huge open world and that you can like upgrade your character and shit like that. And that you can have arch rivals in the game. It just seems like a epic adventure. But I also remember thinking, Lord of the Rings is boring as fuck. So I've never been a big fan of Lord of the Rings, or medieval fantasy really. Part of my struggles with D&D in the beginning is that medieval fantasy is to me a very uninteresting genre. Wizards and dragons and barbarians and shit like that, they don't tickle my fancy like superheroes and stuff like that. I really enjoy superhero stories, and I just feel like medieval fantasy just isn't as interesting. Lord of the Rings movies I felt like had too much walking, and I would get legitimately bored just watching them walk from place to place in pretty New Zealand. New Zealand looks cool, I get it. But I felt like the events that happened before and after walking scenes weren't worth the walking scenes. And I just lost interest in them pretty quickly. So Shadow of Mordor seemed like the perfect game for me, except Lord of the Rings. So I skipped it when it came out. So I'm in the store and I see Shadow of War, which is the sequel to Shadow of Mordor, and I see it's available for like $20. I'm like, $20? I mean, I guess, but at the time I forgot that Shadow of Mordor even had a sequel. So I'm looking at the game and I'm like, is this the old Shadow of Mordor game? And it's still $20? That seems kind of crazy. Then I look to the side and there's like a $10 one. And I was like, "Oh, $10? Well, that seems pretty good." So I either spend $10 on it or I spend $20 on it. The $20 one has like all the DLC and everything, and then the $10 one doesn't have the DLC. And I was like, should I care about the DLC? Like maybe there'll be like a cool skin or something that I could have. So I started looking up Shadow of Mordor DLC, and then I'm like, well, I'm gonna put this down and I'm gonna keep looking. So I go down the aisle and I find another copy that's like $7, and I'm like, well, what's the difference between the $7 one and the $9 one? So I go up to the cashier and she's like, well, the $10 one is like the sequel game and the $7 one is the prequel game. And I'm like, oh, well, I should probably get the first game because I don't even know what happens in the first game to understand the second game. And she's like, you won't understand the second game at all. So I buy the first game for about $7, which is pretty fun. And then Dozer takes me back to my place because I needed some time to study for Security Plus. I did a Shadow of Mordor live stream, which thank you guys for tuning in. That did pretty well. We ended up streaming that for almost 3 hours, and I got my feet wet in the game. And I do like Shadow of Mordor. It's a pretty solid game. I'm thinking about doing a Shadow of Mordor stream after this, but I'm going to ask you guys, which would you prefer me do? A Shadow of Mordor stream or a Reddit stream after this? Reddit's cool because it always has like new content for us to look at together and discuss. But Shadow of Mordor I just got, and I kind of want to see a little bit more of the game. So toss up. Mr. 46K said in the live chat, I also had a Boss K figure from Star Wars, and I feel you on the big ass figurine part. I had a really big Bojack from Dragon Ball Z, but it was so big and took up space that I gave it away. I totally understand where you're coming from on that. Um, Big figures are just, they're inconvenient. I feel like it's harder to collect them. Though, that being said, I'd love to see someone who only collected big figures and look at their collection. Because I feel like their collection, um, even if they have a few things, it'll already look like they have a ton of stuff. But yeah, so just quickly summarizing everything. Um, Hung out with Dozer and Serena, went to Bojangles, went to Target, looked around at the Aquaman figures and everything, went to GameStop, picked up Shadow of Mordor, came back, did a Shadow of Mordor live stream. Um, oh, I didn't mention what I did after the live stream. After the live stream, I studied Security Plus for a bit, but first I messaged with Danica and Maddie, and I took a nap. Messaging with Danica, I almost forgot. I got to talk about my relationship subplot of my CWS life. So Danica, last night on New Year's, I asked her if she would be interested in possibly dating after all the divorce stuff was over with Maddie, to where me and Danica would be like an official couple. And I asked her if she would be interested in possibly moving when I moved, because it seems like through my scholarship that I'll have to work for the government. I could work anywhere in the country. And that was pretty much a deal breaker for Maddie. Maddie was interested in continuing the relationship, but when she realized that I'm going to graduate before she does, the likelihood of her being in a position to just be able to move with me somewhere else is just very unlikely. So even though me and Maddie like still dig each other, it just didn't make logical sense for us to like stay together, knowing that we're more likely than not going to be like split apart. So me and Maddie are now more or less just friends, but we care about her. You know, feelings are still there, but it just doesn't make sense to be more than friends, kind of thing. But Danica, when I asked her about all that last night, she seemed super down. She was like, "Yeah." She's like, "That sounds great. I've always wanted to travel. Where would you be interested in working?" She's like, "As long as I could also get a job in that area, then it makes sense and it'd be cool." I was like, "Oh, that's like really awesome." I got really happy about it. But Danica brought up that she was like drunk. You know, it's New Year's and she was kind of turned up. She's like, "We should talk about this more in the morning when she's like more sobered up. And we shouldn't make anything official until after the divorce." And I'm like, totally agree on that. So I hit her up today and I asked her about her feelings about what we discussed yesterday. And Danica was more or less like, "I thought about it for a while and I should probably take more time to think that kind of thing out." And I'm like, that totally makes sense that you would like want more time. It's a big thing to ask of anyone to be like, "Hey, would you like move with me somewhere else?" And also, Danica and I don't graduate at the same time either, but Danica is graduating next semester, where I have no idea when Maddie's graduating, but it's not like anytime soon, if that makes sense. So, because Danica's graduating next semester, it would just be like a few months where I would be in a new place, and then Danica would like move afterwards. That is, if we decide to do everything. So, long story short, when it comes to the relationship situation, me and Maddie are friends, but we have feelings, but we understand that we can't really do more. And with Danica, Danica wasn't like, no, she can't do it, but more, she needs more time to think about it. So right now, pursuing Danica, friends with Maddie, just to like set the record straight on what's going on. So Mr. 46K said, "I like the Shadow of Mordor game, but I prefer Reddit." And then he said, "Right, I totally understand." He said, "I just hope you find happiness one day, because it really sucks going through a back and forth type thing with someone." Agreed. I've been thinking a lot about just how the scenario could go depending on what the scholarship does, right? So, Danica, I feel like, is more than happy dating. It's more the is she willing to move? And she hasn't like completely written it off. Maddie's more or less like, I wouldn't be willing to move. But Danica is considering it because she's interested in travel. She just needs more time to consider it, which makes sense. Um, but what I've been thinking about is, what if I don't have to move? What if, for whatever reason, I'm able to find a job in the area, which is what I personally would prefer. I don't necessarily want to have to move. I like the area that I live in, but I'm willing to move in order to like serve my country in cybersecurity wherever I'm needed. So if I don't have to move, I feel like I get put in a weird situation because the main reason why Maddie and I are like not a thing is because it's likely that I'll move. But if I don't move, then it would be like, well then Maddie is like an actual option. You know what I mean? But the same goes for Danica, except Danica could potentially go either way. She seems like she'd be potentially down to move, but she also is like down to date without me having to move. So it's a thing where if I don't move, I more or less have to pick, which is weird. And then if I do move, then Maddie is already like nah, and Danica's like a maybe. So nothing's really set in stone. I just feel like the only thing that does feel like a definite is that you get put at a weird crossroads if you don't have to move. So then Mr. 46K said, definitely. Then he asked, what would make you happy? So the weird thing about that, I feel like the biggest advantage that Maddie has over Danica is just that I've known Maddie longer. I've just known Maddie for more years. So I feel like me and Maddie have like a closer connection. I feel like I know Maddie better than I know any other person. But that also is based on like time spent together that gives her like somewhat of an advantage over Danica. I feel like if I spent a lot of really solid quality time with Danica, it would have to be really solid. Like the whole time trying to like learn more about her and learn more about each other and like build those connections. Um, I still don't think between now and the time I graduate that I would somehow know Danica more than I know Maddie. And I just feel like that puts Danica at somewhat of a disadvantage. Now, Danica and I have really similar interests when it comes to like superheroes, comic books, and superhero movies that are things that Maddie just doesn't necessarily like vibe with in the same way. And me and Danica have similar career paths. It's easier for us to say, well, we can move to the same place because if I'm going there to work, then that shows that there's opportunities there. So it means that we can like both go there and do cybersecurity. And it also means that I have someone that I could relate with when it came to work, but also when it came to leisure, when it came to like superheroes and superhero movies and TV shows and comics and stuff like that. When it comes to Maddie, Maddie has a lot of interests that I don't necessarily share, but that's cool. I enjoy talking with Maddie about the interests that we don't share. But the interests that we do share, she likes them differently. The milkshakes that she likes are milkshakes that I think are gross, and the milkshakes that I like, she thinks have like too many things in them. When it comes to magic, she's like into divination and like looking into the future, but I'm more into like feeling energy and like spells and stuff like that. But it's interesting to see like the parallels, the things that are like similar but different between us. I think that's really cool. And a lot of our like in common things, like the things that we both enjoy, are things that we've discovered recently that we both enjoy. And I think that's really cool. Um, so I don't feel like it's really fair to like rate people. You know what I mean? To like give them numbers and be like, well, this one's like quantifiably better than the other, or whatever. Um, but it I see potential. And that was very vague. I guess my big issue is I've known Maddie longer, and I feel like I have like a very strong connection with Maddie. And I feel like if Maddie was down to move, that this wouldn't even be like a discussion. I would just be like, Maddie. But because Maddie is not able to move, it's just unrealistic because of the fact that the likelihood of me getting a cybersecurity job where I live versus anywhere else in the country seems really slim because there are going to be very few here versus everywhere. You know what I mean? So because of that, it's just more likely that um, I don't really have Maddie as an option to begin with. That it just doesn't make sense. Because I can relate with Danica with work and with the superhero stuff, and moving would be something that she'd actually be interested in doing. She wants to travel. She wants to find like a good job. Um, and she's graduating sooner. That's the other thing. The fact that she's graduating soon and she'll be ready to like get into the workforce like shortly after like I'm in the workforce. I think that's also helpful. The idea of being able to do all that together is like a really big thing. Because even if me and Maddie did stay together, she would still be like going through school and kind of getting her life together, where I'll be like getting my life together, but in like a really different way. Like getting my own place and getting my own car and driving myself places and going to work regularly, but not just like a job like my career and working for the government. It's just a lot. It's a lot of extra to like be going through. And with Danica, it's you almost also get like a break too, which is weird. So when I graduate, let's say I do have to move and Danica's down, right? Danica's like ready for action. So I move, but then I have a few months where Danica's like still in school. We would kind of do like a long distance thing, and I can focus on getting on my feet in the new location. I can be like living on my own for the first time and being able to enjoy my own space and my own like living quarters and everything like that, and having my own car for the first time and being able to like go to and from work and just like having a place. um, I feel like that is like a good experience to be able to have. I have my own place now, but I'm living in the dorm. It's like a big community. um, Seeing if I can like really make it on my own is a different thing, you know what I mean, than like immediately doing it with another person. um, and then once Danica graduated, she'd be able to like come down to like where I was, wherever I ended up moving, and then we could like possibly move in together. I don't know if it would be like an immediate thing or if she would also want time to just experience a house on her own. Mr. Force's case said, "Do you work currently?" Currently, I'm focused mainly on school. So this is my last semester of college. After this, I have to get a job with the government. I have to have a job with the government when I graduate, or my scholarship becomes a loan and you have to pay it all back. So I'm currently pursuing jobs, applying to jobs, trying to find an opportunity to where I don't miss out on everything. So that's what I'm currently like going through in life. So I don't work currently. I'm mainly like in school, study, work hard, go back to the dorm, homework, work hard, go to sleep, go back to class, repeat, like in a loop, just doing school, trying to get the most out of my education. Um, so I don't know. I feel like it's like a weird situation to be in because it's not that I dislike either girl. I like Danica and I like Maddie. And I like them both for different reasons, but not necessarily in a way to where it's like I like one more than the other. It's just I do know Maddie more. I feel like there are just things I don't know about Danica to where it's not that I feel like there would be a secret deal breaker, something that I don't know about her that would make me go like, "Oh, I'm less interested." But I don't know if there's a secret deal breaker. I don't know if there's anything about Danica that I don't happen to like that could be like, like maybe this may not work out because like XYZ. But I feel like I really, really know Maddie to the point to where it's like I don't think Maddie has any like surprise up her sleeve that I'm not gonna see coming. Um, so I don't know. It's a toss up. Kirby said, "Hiya, yo Kirby, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you." I'm just talking about my day. We're currently talking about the Maddie Danica thing. Um, to give you a summary of my day, really quickly, hung out with Dozer and Serena. We went to Bojangles. It was Dozer and Serena's first time going. We went to Target, looked at superhero action figures. They didn't have an Aquaman action figure that I wanted, which makes sense because of the holiday rush. I picked up Shadow of Mordor at Gamestop, played Shadow of Mordor on my PS4. It was fun. Did a live stream. If you haven't seen that, feel free to check that out. Talked with Maddie and Danica for a little bit on Facebook. Took a nap, studied Security Plus for a bit, and then jumped in and did this live stream right now. So that's like the quick cut and dry of it. Kirby says he's still playing Soul Calibur 6 on his channel. Feel free to check out Kirby's channel for Soul Calibur 6. And if you're not subscribed to Kirby Ultrastar, he also does gaming content. He's a really nice guy, and he's into Yu-Gi-Oh! So if you like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Content, feel free to check out Kirby and his Soul Calibur 6 live stream. But yeah, I guess what the real question is, right? Like, no bullshitting. If Maddie was down to move and Danica's down to move, and they're both like, just pick one of us, kind of thing, who would I pick? And I feel like I have more time to answer that question, believe it or not. So the reason why I say that is because I feel like since I know what I need to look for, I know that with this time between now and when I graduate, I can try to learn more about Danica and try to like build that connection and see if I feel like that connection will work out. Because we already like each other, but I still feel like we need to learn more about each other to see if this would like really work. Um, and I feel like closer to when I graduate, I'll have a better answer of whether or not I would pick Danica or pick Maddie. Because right now, like I said, the biggest advantage Maddie has is I feel like I know her. I feel like I really like understand her at this point. But I feel like what I know of Danica is great, and I really like Danica. But what I don't know of Danica is just like the wild card factor. Like I what I don't know is what I don't know. So part of it will be trying to learn more about her and understand her better. So that's my current answer. My current answer is I have time to figure out the true answer um, in the end, because it is possible that after all this, I don't have to move, and then that decision becomes even more important. But yeah, that's what's going on in my life currently, and that's the main thing that I did today. Mr. Force's case said, most definitely, trust is something that you must build in a relationship. Most definitely, and I feel like that's something that is really built over time. But yeah. So Mr. Force's case said, while Shadow of Mordor is cool, he would prefer Reddit. Um, yeah, we can do Reddit. The thing that I was trying to think of for a second is I wonder if I could like get away with doing both, and I think I could. I could try and do 30 minutes of Reddit, like actually lock it down and only doing it 30 minutes, and then 30 minutes of Shadow of Mordor, and try to actually lock it down at 30 minutes of Shadow of Mordor, to give you guys like an hour of entertainment all together. So we still get Reddit and we still get Shadow of Mordor, and we can all still hang out and talk. Mr. Force's case said, do what makes you happy. I feel like that should make me happy, because I'll like being able to look over Reddit, because I purposely try to avoid Reddit as much as possible so that when we do the Reddit streams, we're seeing all of it at the same time together for the first time. And then Shadow of Mordor is cool because it's just a new game. But yeah, I'm hype. I'm ready to hit that up. If you like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding ding ding, ring that notification bell to be notified whenever we do these live streams. Oh, also, we're getting pretty close to what we need for the channel to be monetized. You need 4,000 watch hours within the last year, and we're currently at 3,375 watch hours. So we're a little ways off in watch hours. How many hours off do you think we are? We are 625. So we need 625 more hours to be watched to hit like monetization level. And I don't know how many watch time hours we normally get in a month. And then we need 50, that would put us at 95. We need 55 more subscribers to hit 1,000. Thank you kindly, Mr. 46K. So we need 625 more watch hours. So I'm trying to calculate real quick on stream how long it would take to get that. And I'll just try and use like an average based off of how many watch hours we have this month. So this month, they don't do watch hours, which kind of pisses me off. They do watch minutes. So right now we have 26,757 minutes in the last 28 days, so like in the last month. So then You take that number and then you divide it by 60 to figure out how many hours. So we're averaging about 445 watch hours, almost 446 watch hours a month. So we're not currently getting enough watch hours to clock over it like within a month. So hopefully we'll be able to boost watch hours up a little bit. Yo, Unknown Slayer, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. I feel like we'll definitely hit subscribers soon, like the current number. We gained 54 subscribers in the last month, which has been really helpful. And we need only a little bit more than that to hit 1,000 subscribers within a month, which is pretty good. Um, but for those watch time hours, it's just not enough. And I feel like the issue is I don't really like record long enough content for you guys to like sit there and be able to watch it for that amount of time. So that's going to be interesting trying to get you guys more content to get more watch hours to be able to hit monetization. It's a weird ceiling for them to set, but I accept the challenge and I'm ready to like take that on to get monetization back. It feels weird because I'm getting it back. YouTube gave it to me and they took it away because they have the new policy. But I mean, we're working toward it and we'll eventually hit it. But it looks like we're about to, in the stream, start up a Reddit live stream. Feel free to tune into that. It'll be me just going through the Reddit feed, talking with you guys in the live chat. We're going to do the Reddit live stream for 30 minutes. Make sure that you guys stop me at 30 minutes. And then we'll do a Shadow of Mordor live stream for 30 minutes. I can only do about like an hour more of streaming after this because I need to exercise and shower and hit the hay. Me and Maddie are actually going to hang out tomorrow and go to the magic store around 4:45 p.m. So I have plans tomorrow. Plus, I need to study more for Security Plus tomorrow as well. So I just have other obligations. But don't worry, more content coming soon. So stay tuned after this. We got Reddit coming. Again, like I've already said a couple times, if you like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding, 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 ring that notification bell to be notified whenever we do these live streams. This is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, logging out. Peace.